the only photography channel that actually knows how to fix cameras. By the way, a guy named Zed Pro Media, he has an XT2. He was talking about an issue with his XT2, and he had Wi-Fi issue, and he had hotspots. And since I'm really good at fixing things and doing diagnostic elimination, I told Zed Pro Media in a video before he took his camera in to Fujifilm, I said, you've got a bad main board. So he had two issues, hotspots and Wi-Fi issues, and it turned, he just, every company on earth that's produced any product will produce one product that's, it's just, they just popped out 11. It's had bad, all these cameras are incredibly full of electronics. They're just 10 pounds of poo in a 5-pound bag, every single camera ever made. Let's learn something about different types of cameras really quick that you don't understand and most people don't understand. And let's first start off by talking about how Japanese people treat their cameras. This is the reason why really old lenses, if you go on eBay, look for some crummy old lens that hasn't been made for 40 years, you'll find minty copies in Japan, and every copy in Europe or Germany, especially in the United States, it's just been beat to hell, like it's been abused like a red-headed stepchild. Japanese copies of the lens will be minty. I've seen a few bum copies of Japanese lenses. That's not to say they don't use the lenses. They appreciate fine precision instruments, and every camera and every lens, specifically lenses for crying out loud, are precision instruments. Americans and to a lesser degree, Europeans, Americans and Canadians are the worst. So are Australians. Americans, Canadians, and Australians all suck when it comes to appreciating the precision of fine optics and extremely complicated electronic devices, something that the Japanese really appreciate, and Americans and Canadians and Australians are pretty stupid about. I mean, they beat and abuse their cameras and lenses. Like, oh my God, it broke. It's like, yeah, you're an idiot, and you abused it. You took it out in a rainstorm, or you dropped it, or you're sitting here, it was flapping around on your belt, and it was knocking as it went through doorways. This camera sucks! This is not about Zed Pro Media. His was actually a mainboard failure, so I don't want you to think I'm referencing him. By the way, he took his camera to Fujifilm, and might I remind you, in his latest video, that they fixed it out of warranty. And it was exactly what I diagnosed. I didn't even have the camera in my hands, obviously. I diagnosed mainboard failure, and that's exactly what it was. So I was 100% correct in diagnosing a camera from 1,000 miles away. They fixed his camera for free. I might remind you, out of warranty. Not saying they're going to do that every time, but I like to see Sony, excuse me, I like to see Sony do that with one of their, no, no. 3 words: reliable, durable, and perdurable. Right now, Fujifilm is making, here's a really important distinction because the devil's in the details, making the most reliable, best-built cameras out there. Even the Leica cameras, per 1,000 units, are far less reliable than Fujifilm. Fujifilm currently, even over that of Leica, is making the most reliable cameras. Not my opinion, it's just a damn fact. Period. Reliability. Durability. Per durable. There's only one per durable camera that I know of. That's basically, and even then it's not per durable, but it comes the closest to being per durable. That'd be the Nikon D3. No camera is weatherproof because, amazingly enough, all these cameras have something in common. No matter how many O-ring gaskets they have on it, even if you have an O-ring gasket on the back of your lens that mates up to the lens mount, all these cameras have this big gigantic hole sitting on the front of them. Not only that, there's 1,000 other ways for actually the elements to get in. There's invasive weather and there's pervasive weather. I've actually talked about that before. Short-term invasive and long-term pervasive. Someone took it out in a rainstorm and it's like, oh my God, my camera's still working 2 weeks later. It's like, yeah, that's short-term invasive declaration that your camera survived a small tragedy, but what will happen is it will corrode on the inside and it will fail like 6 months later, and you go, I don't know what happened to the camera. It's been out of the weather for 6 months. Well, corrosion has been corroding, and it kept on corroding until the camera failed. That is called a long-term survivability. That would be about perdurability of your camera. Reliable, durable, perdurable. Fujifilm Cameras is making the best cameras currently. No, I don't speak for Fujifilm. They don't give me stuff. Well, Fujifilm did give me a couple free t-shirts and a hat, a couple free hats. I don't know if that really counts or anything. No free gear or anything. Most reliable. The most durable. Everything in electronics is designed to have a shelf life. However, I can certainly see anybody with an XT1 or an XT2 being exactly like a like a old Nikon D3 or D4, for example, where countless years down the road, long after you've squeezed all your money out of what you paid for the camera, it's still going hot and heavy and making you happy, or somebody else that you sold it off to making them happy. So we have reliable, then we have durable, and no camera is really technically durable. They are precision instruments. The fallacy that you and countless other people have in your brains is that if you can knock something around and abuse it like a redheaded stepchild, therefore it is not made well. No, all precision instruments are by definition precision because they are inherently, by that word, connotatively fragile. I'm not saying this is a Fabergé egg, nor is any other camera from Sony, Nikon, or Fujifilm. You have to understand what the actual definition of the word reliable and durable is meant. Optics are extremely precision. Digital cameras are literally 10 pounds of poo in a 5-pound bag. You wouldn't believe what is crammed into a digital camera, as I've made many videos on, taking them apart. The video that's filming me right now is on a D500 that a guy actually dropped down an embankment and it fell into a creek. The camera was wet. I fixed it. It's filming me right now. Nikon D500. Reliable, durable, and perdurable. And you have to understand the difference between short-term invasive and long-term pervasive. That means while your camera might have survived a soak or a heavy rainstorm, the corrosion will set in, and then it will likely croak X number of months later. Fujifilm cameras are both reliable and they are durable. But they are, and this is what the Japanese understand, that stupid Americans and Canadians and Australians, to a lesser degree, don't understand, is that a precision instrument, just like a Lamborghini or something else, has really tight tolerances, is by definition connotatively a type of fragile instrument or tool. They are calibrated and they are built to tight tolerances on countless different fronts. This means that it is, as a working professional, this is why every working professional has a backup camera. They get the shakes about not going. They'll go with like 3 or 4 or 5 lenses or whatever the gig is and their camera, and they'll always got a backup body because they have the brains enough to know that it's just a tool. Okay, it's not your baby that you've been breastfeeding. It can and will break. Professionals are rough on their cameras because they're always running around trying to, not all of them are, but most of them are, rough to a certain degree. Some of them shoot in bad weather conditions, and it's a tool. And all those people generally bring in a Ziploc bag, like a wildlife photographer, unless they have serious weight constrictions, a backup body in a Ziploc bag. Or a dry bag's the same thing. They use those for kayaks. It's a genius little device you can buy for like 25 bucks for the typical camera body. So, reliable, durable, and perdurable. If you want a camera to go out and shoot really crappy conditions, then buy a Nikon D3. It's the only camera that I could say is close to being a perdurable camera. A precision instrument is by definition fragile. Fujifilm not only doesn't have any issues, like I said, they are making the best, most reliable cameras to date. Per 1,000 units, they are making the most reliable cameras to date, period. Not my opinion, it's an existential fact. It's just a fact. Oh my god, someone's Fujifilm camera broke! Oh my god! Oh, it's defective! Yeah. How many hundreds of thousands of units were they making in that particular model? Yeah, okay. And you're complaining about 1, 2, 3, I look at all these boards. If any Fujifilm camera had an issue, and I'm not saying Fujifilm was perfect, nor would even Fujifilm say they were perfect. But if there were any issues where, something was going down, like springs kept popping off in the exact same spot, I would be the first to report on it. It's not going on at all. There was an issue ages ago where the XT1 had a light leak through the side door. So if you had the side door open, the light would leak in, it would fog the sensor. They fixed that early on the XT1. I can't think of anything else. Really, that's the only thing I can think of. So just understand what the hell a precision instrument is. If you don't think a camera, a Rolex is a precision instrument too, but we're talking about it being incredibly tight. I've got a Rolex back in the safe there. My dead wife actually purchased it for me. Why did I get onto a Rolex? Doesn't keep very good time though. You gotta actually buy a winder for the thing. It's always gotta be winding since it's perpetual motion. Either that or wearing it all the time. I know one guy, he actually wears it all the time, including to the shower. He wears it to bed, sex, shower. He wears it everywhere. It's always winding. Even when he's tossing and turning in his sleep, it's winding it. Oh, there we go. This is what the Japanese, really, I guess the summation of this video kind of should be, is you should take a lesson from the Japanese. Because the Japanese have a firmer mental grasp on what the hell the words precision instrument actually frigging mean. And you don't, especially if you're an American. Yeah, I'm attacking my own people, the Americans. You really go on eBay. It's so amazing. You type in any old lens that ain't made anymore. All the Japanese copies are pristine, and they do use them. I just take care of them. And all the American copies are beat the hell. That tells you something culturally about the mentality of Americans. I paid a lot for this thing. It's meant to be durable. I'm going to beat it up. And then when and if it breaks, this piece of junk. It's like, no, you just didn't take very good care of it. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you knew you were buying a precision instrument, but you thought you'd treat it like a freaking rubber chew toy for your dog. And that ain't what it is. We're talking about a lens. It's got countless elements in there that are precisely aligned, and you treated it like a ping pong ball. If you like this video, click the link below. Tell me to jump off a cliff. I'm going to warm my hands by the fire here. For some reason, it's not very warm. Well, actually, it's warm back here. And that's the processor heating up. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we go. Yeah. Too much coffee. Yep. Bye.